Good morning. Good morning. I hope you guys are doing well. So, first off, y'all know I love a good disclaimer. That's just my personality. I'm always going to do disclaimers. So, I am going to be posting a lot. But I just wanted to already call that out because when you're like, man, I'm seeing your face on my timeline again. Yes, but that's just because due to the urgency of the times. And honestly, if I can keep it a buck with y'all, I have to confess, a lot of this stuff y'all are told me to put out a while ago, so I just want to, do what I can to share the message and share his word. And it's the times are urgent. So I'm just saying that to say, when I flood it, when you see a timeline flooded with videos, it's all good. You can take. I'm gonna try to again continue to share stuff to the YouTube channel. So and create playlists where appropriate. So you can always go over there, and just take your time and go through. But I just wanted to get that disclaimer. Okay, all right. So, okay. So we talked about the Antichrist. Then we talked about. And the reason why I did this is because I'm going to talk about Israelite topics. So the last set of videos, just to review, we talked about there, in this hour, we can't just say we don't believe that the Israelites are black. Like if that's just a belief, the whole point of that last set of videos is we have to actually ask, is that most people just say they believe and they just go with these mindsets. But if you ask them, have you actually asked Yahuwah who are the Israelites and are they black? Most people will tell you no. They haven't actually done that. And so that's imperative to do that before we make a decision to believe that something's not true. Okay, so now this set of videos, we're moving on. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of topics. A whole bunch of videos about the land. So I know that this is a very sensitive subject for some people. I know that it's, just the topic is very sensitive. So we do want to be sensitive to that, but we also want to tell the truth. And, I just pray ultimately that you will take whatever I share back to the Father and back to his word. But but my goal is just to share kind of like a different perspective. Okay, so anyways, let's just jump into it. So in this video, I thought what I wanted to do was kind of like an intro, just an intro before we jump into like scripture readings. So just to start off, I thought I would share what I believe to be the real reasons for the war. And if you're an Israelite, you probably, this is Israelite beliefs, but how do I start? So first of all, we know that they say that the whole reason for the war, like the war in the Middle East, we know that the common narrative is that, God's chosen people got the land, right? So we say that God's chosen people got the land and it kicked off all these things, right? So they got the land. God gave them the land, in 1948, World War II, but it's since kicked off all these events. So I would like to present 3 considerations to you. It's just 3 reasons and considerations that, I believe are the true reasons why there is the war in the Middle East. And why am I doing this? Because we do not want to be deceived in these times. Remember, we want to believe the truth leading up to the things to come and the Antichrist. Actually, hold on. It's 4, because I just remembered something. It's 4 reasons. Okay. So the first reason that I would like for you guys to take into consideration as the reason for the war in the Middle East, it is meaning like the reason over the land. It is not because God's chosen people got the land. The first reason that I would like to present is the truth is, if you look at who's fighting, it's actually the Israelites, enemy nations fighting each other. So let me explain. You have like Palestinians or like, Arabs, and then you have Israeli, which is really Europeans. I mean, listen, they already did the DNA test. They're Europeans, okay? So you have Arabs and Europeans fighting each other. But remember, I'm coming from the position that the Israelites are black. So you have the Israelites who are black, and you have Arabs, and then you have the Israelis, which are basically Europeans fighting each other, right? What I'm saying is, ultimately, and what I'm about to say is not popular, but biblically, this is true. You have to remember that traditionally, these are enemy nations of the true Israelites. These are both enslaver nations of the true Israelites. Okay, so you have the Arabs, and then you have effectively people that are of European descent. The Arabs, and why am I saying this? Let me just start with the point. If you read the Old Testament, okay, again, this is not popular truth, but it's the truth. A lot of times when Yahuwah was getting ready to deliver his people, when he was getting ready to set them up for deliverance, he would start to have the enemy nations fight each other to make way for the deliverance of his people. Please read the Old Testament. If I can remember, I should have did this. I try to find like examples, but the point, but it's in there. If you read the Old Testament, a lot of times it talks about the Israelites. I know a lot of times we use all these terms and stuff, but people talk about Black Hebrew Israelites and all that, but no. If you read the Bible, we're talking about biblical. If you read the Bible, the people are just called the Israelites. There's no such thing as Black Hebrew Israelites or whatever other, or it's Israelites, Ammonites, Edomites, Jebusites, Hittites, Canaanites. Okay. So Hamite, you know what I mean? So it's the people are called the Israelites. We were called the Israelites then. We're called the Israelites now. Despite all these different names, I'm just saying that the tribes of Israel, we are still called the Israelites, okay? So I'm saying that in the Bible, when you read the Israelites, when you read for the Israelites, a lot of times when Yah was getting ready to deliver his people, he had the enemy nations fight each other, which made way for the deliverance. It was really destruction, and then they made way for the deliverance of the people. I'm presenting to you that that's one of the reasons you're seeing them fight in the Middle East. It's not because God gave his chosen people the land. It's actually because the enemy enslaver nations of the true children of Israel are fighting each other, making way for the eventual deliverance of the real children of Israel. I hope I'm making this sense, but if you listen, if you are an Israelite and if you're a Black person, not all Black people are Israelites, but if you are an Israelite and this is confusing for you, what I would love for you to do is to study you don't have to do no deep study, but just do a basic study of the Arab slave trade, because both of these nations have done stuff to the true Israelites. So you want to do the Arab slave trade and study that, and then study the transatlantic slave trade and study that, okay? So that will show you, we're going to talk about this with scriptures, but I'm saying that do a basic study of the Arab slave trade and then the transatlantic, and then biblical scriptures where it talks about how God or Yahuwah always has the enemy nations fight each other before he sets up the deliverance. So my point is, what's my point? My point is that's one of the reasons for the war. Okay, that they're not going to tell you that, but biblically, I'm telling you that's what it is. You have the enemy nations you have the true biblical Israelites, which are Black, and you have their enemy nations fighting each other. The Arabs were enslavers, and so were the Europeans, and so they're fighting each other. So that's one reason. The next reason is the war in the Middle East is to set it up for World War III. That's another reason, is to set the stage for World War III. Ultimately, this conflict is setting the stage. It's not setting the stage for quote unquote God's chosen people, in the land. No, it's setting the stage for World War III, which will ultimately lead to the Antichrist. But they have to start kicking off all these conflicts. Listen, all of this is still prophecy and it's still biblical, but I just think we have to just, based off of the Bible, we have to start looking at it a certain way. So that's the second reason, is effectively this war is setting the stage for World War III, which we're pretty much already in, but World War III is setting the stage eventually for the Antichrist. Okay. And then a third reason is it's setting the stage for the judgment of the Medes. And I hope, hopefully I can get through this. So I want to read Isaiah chapter 13. So it's setting the stage for the incoming judgment of the Medes against the Europeans. That's why you're seeing that whole spirit of Iran rise up, right? It's setting the stage from that, because there's, there will be a judgment against the West. I know these are like, but it's just the truth. Okay, so let me read it. So in the Bible, go to Isaiah 13, and you want to read Isaiah 13, chapter, what am I going to say? Oh, Lord, this is, okay, disclaimer, this is actually a hard reading. So, but I am going to read it. So maybe start at 15. So it says, everyone who is found will be thrust through. Actually, read the whole chapter, but this will just be 15. 15. Okay, everyone who is found will be thrust through, and everyone who is captured will fall by the sword. Their children also will be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses will be plundered and their wives ravished. Ravished means raped. 17. Behold, I will stir up, this is God doing this, I will stir up the Medes against them, who will not regard silver, and as for gold, they will not delight in it. Also, their bows will dash the young men to pieces, and they will have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Oof. Meaning, they're going to maybe kill pregnant women. Okay, their eyes will not spare children, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans' pride, will be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It will never be inhabited, nor will it be settled from generation to generation. Nor will the Arabian pitch tents there, nor will the shepherds make their sheepfolds there. But wild beasts of the desert will lie there, and their houses will be full of owls. Ostriches will dwell there, and wild goats will caper there. The hyenas will howl in their citadels, and jackals in their pleasant palaces. Her time is near to come, and her days will not be prolonged. So listen, that's what you're starting to see over there. It's the spirit of the Medes rising up against the West, okay? And this is, when I read the scripture years ago, but when I first read it, this is what struck me. It said, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, who will not regard silver, and as for gold, they will not delight in it. What this is saying is this is saying that the Western nations will not be able to buy their way out of retribution and judgment. That's what this is saying. Because typically when you deal with the West, they're always, listen, these are just truths. They're always maybe trying to buy their way or think that their riches will get them out of something. But God is going to stir up a spirit in the nation, really Iran, and the Arabs, to be a judgment against Europe, the West and Europeans. And in this judgment, these are a people who you're not going to be able to buy your way out of the judgment. You can't, in other words, you can't bribe them. It says, now God is stirring up this spirit, but it says, I will stir up the Medes. So that's like Iran or like the Arab nations against them, who will not regard silver. And as for gold, they will not delight in it. Also, their bows will dash the young men to pieces, and they will have no pity on the fruit of the womb. So this is what God is saying. So he's stirring up these judgment spirits. And I believe that this is against Europeans in the West. Why? Again, it's just wickedness, but I believe also it's because of, I don't need to say I believe it. It's not even me. It's in the Bible. I'm going to run out of time on this one. So, but basically what they've done to the children of Israel, it says it in other scriptures, but we're going to talk about that. So I'm going to run out of time on this one. I'm still in my intro phase. So just to review, oh my God, I'm going to run out of time. This was reasons one. I actually forgot what the reasons, but I'm going to come back on for Instagram and Facebook and just continue. Okay, bye.